Hello, I have a question for you. What does overgrown mean to you in Minecraft? My name is MrFrogger, and today I want to talk about overgrown in Minecraft. Terms like this, overgrown or steampunk, or any real general term when dealing with building can mean different things to different people. So I'd be super interested to hear what you think of when someone says overgrown. The definition of overgrown is covered with plants that have been allowed to grow wild or grown too large or beyond its normal size. And I think with regards to this, I'm going to go with the first one for me personally, where it means it is all about being overgrown and allowed to grow wild. So let's do an overgrown build while we talk it through. To me, overgrown, I automatically think big, green and lush. And so as you can see here, we're going to spend a lot of time with the mossy palette, I would call it. So we've got moss, mossy cobble and mossy brick. We have some green concrete powder and some leaves and roots. And then for a little bit of extra detail, we can add some vines and some glow lichen. But these blocks on their own don't really mean overgrown to me. I always think a little build that has been left out in the wilderness and damaged over time by the wild. To start with, what we're going to do is build a nice little cottage. And then after that, we're going to convert it into overgrown. So let's do it. We have a basic cottage in place, and now I want to talk through how I would convert this to feel overgrown. Now, we've started already by adding the mossy stone brick in this build, but there is more that we can do here. If we start with the roof, I would be very tempted to come in and replace some of these spruce planks and stairs with moss. Not only does the moss look great next to the spruce, but we can bone meal it and get a bit of grass and a few flowers. We can obviously go in and add our own flowers in place. I think adding some of these flowering azaleas could look really good, and we may as well add a bunch more of these cornflowers in. And it's starting to look a little overgrown, at least on the roof level. Now we also have these mangrove leaves, which I'd be tempted to do as little flower boxes outside the windows. I would go with signs on each side. To continue the focus on the roof, we could very easily come in and add in some drooping leaves around the place. And again, that's starting to look great. I think what would be nice as well is to go in and replace some of this good looking stone and bricks with some of the cobble, because that gives it another worn down look. Now on the back here with this little chimney, it would be amazing if we could have a mossy brick. Please, Mojang, let us moss anything. Let us moss brick. Let us moss ore if we want to. Just let us moss every block. But until they let us moss every block, we can come in and add a combination of the vines and the glow lichen to make this feel a little more run down. I also feel like maybe adding a stack of barrels here will help out. And this little cottage from the outside is looking pretty run down and overgrown now. Now, one thing I want to try out is overgrown kind of also means to me, not just wild, but also maybe aged. And so I think I want to do is go in, we've got these nice green leaves, and as you see here, I've kind of started to add in some more of these roots to kind of look like this has been happening for a while, and maybe a few of these leaves have actually died. And I think it just adds, well, another color to it, right? And another bit of life to this build. Yeah, I think that's cool. I've also gone in and added some glow lichen and these vines around the front as well. Another thing I like to do is to add in these campfires as like put out campfires on some of these roof parts. Again, a different color and a different height difference in it. Yeah, that looks good. I think I like the roots in and amongst the leaves. I think that adds really to the kind of overgrown feel. So the next thing I want to do is work on a little path, and I have been really enjoying coarse dirt at the moment. And I think coarse dirt will add in a nice kind of aged feel and unkept feel to the path area, and I think we can go in and add some rooted dirt in as well and try and make it not as uniform. As well as this packed mud, I think it just works really well in combination with the two dirt types. And I think going in, adding in some stone buttons and also some grass to make it feel a little less used and a bit more overgrown. Now, I think any little cottage like this should have a farm area. And I think what I want to do is make this one out front, but a little more sporadic. And I think, again, going in and replacing some of this dirt with the coarse dirt to make it feel, a bit more used, a bit more unkempt, as well as adding in some more of this grass. Yeah, and I think this is coming together nicely, but what I would like to do now is do a lot of trees. And I think the way I'm going to do these ones is with the fences as the trunks, rather than going for a full wood. We don't have too much space in this little plot, but I'd like some really tall trees, and I think this is a good way with the fences doing it. So we're just going to bring up these fences as kind of the thinner trunk, and I think we want to use the mangrove leaves for this one, trying to give it some shape but also not keeping it as uniform as I might have done in other trees. But I definitely think having some drooping leaves will benefit this to make it feel a little older and overgrown. Yeah, I like that a lot, and I think we'll just repeat that around in a few other places. I asked earlier about your opinion of Overgrown, and I think, at least from my viewpoint, I do think that Overgrown has this level of, as I said, unkempt and worn down, I guess, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. But that doesn't exactly mean that everything that is overgrown needs to be like this. This is just my interpretation, and I really look forward to seeing what you, as the viewer, have as an interpretation for Overgrown. And with these trees in place, this place is starting to look really good, I think. I think one of the last few things I want to do is I would love to add in a few mushrooms. And as far as I know, we need a bit of podzol for that. And so around here, I think I'll just add in a few bits of podzol, and then we can add in some mushrooms, which help to add a pop of color, but also, they feel like they would grow somewhere that might be not as well looked after and definitely overgrown. So what do you think to this little cottage we've got in place? This was my interpretation of the term overgrown, and I probably said overgrown way too much in this video, but that's okay. We can deal with that. And I think I am considering doing more terms like this in Minecraft and do Frogger's interpretation of a term. Could be something like steampunk, could be something else. So if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like me to try and build as a term, then please do leave it in the comments below. And I really appreciate you stopping by today. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. And until next time, bye bye.